Dude, one thing I wanted to say about your thing about 2014 sucking is one thing to consider as far as games not having like 95s is that it's a lot of new franchises.
Yeah.
And new franchises always kind of have growing pains.
No, that's true.
So like if you think about the first Assassin's Creed.
Right.
Or like even the first like Burnout game. Like no one even remembers that fucking game.
Right.
So I guess that would be one thing to think is at least they're new IPs and you can hopefully all these, just pretty good first games are like will be amazing part 2s.
Yeah. I still have high hopes for Destiny as a franchise.
Yeah.
I really want to see them sort that out because I think that whole concept has like a lot of potential.
Well, and from what I understand, like they pretty much have everything riding on that game. Like if that game flops, like Bungie's done.
Really?
It costs a lot of money to make a game like that.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And they're not. I mean, yeah, they're Bungie, but they're not like,
But nobody's immune.
No.
100% immune to fucking everything.
No.
Even EA, I think, if you had enough flops, I mean.
Well, right. Yeah, even like, you have someone like Kojima, like, yeah, if he bombed the next Metal Gear, like, yeah, he wouldn't be fired, but that would be the end of Metal Gear probably.
Right. Okay, I know I joked about this, but when does Phantom Pain actually come out?
I should have checked after you asked me the last time, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I want to say it's this fall, but I don't know for sure.
Because I thought it was 2014, right?
I thought it was coming out this fall sometime.
Yeah, because it's October, 1st today or 2nd?
Yeah.
So we're into quarter 4.
Yeah.
I really want to play all those games. Like, I played 1 and 2, but I haven't played 3 and 4. And I really want to play them, and I really want to be excited to play 5.
Yeah.
If I try and play them all back to back, am I going to be completely burnt out before 5 even comes out?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I feel like they're different enough, but
for some reason, 3 just... I feel like that one's going to be a slog for me.
Really?
Because it doesn't... Like, that whole jungle shit doesn't appeal to me at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely 3 is incredible,
Okay.
especially as far as like the story and everything.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is. It's hard because it's like since it takes place in like the 60s.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you don't have all the tech. You don't have a radar.
Right.
Your silencer like degrades after you use it like 3 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of that.
And
there's a lot of like, you have to like bandage up your wounds and a lot of that kind of crap.
To eat and shit, don't you?
Yeah. And every now and then you eat something poison and then you lose health. But all that's not as tedious as it sounds.
Yeah. Oh my god. I need some more of these. There we go. I was supposed to influence this duel between these 2 dickheads.
Oh.
So I just picked one and helped.
But dude, how genius is Kojima? So he designs a universe where each successor is a clone of the previous one.
Right.
So he can quote unquote end Solid Snake's saga, but like keep making games where you're basically Solid Snake, but you're not. But it's okay because he's a clone.
Right.
Like he totally figured out the perfect workaround for that.
Right.
You're technically only Solid Snake for 3 games.
Yeah.
And now there's like 8 Metal Gear Solid games.
Right.
And like they call him Snake, kind of. It's very funny.
Right. Yeah, I really need to go back and play those because I mean I knew a lot of that stuff, but I still want to go. I want to see how it all plays out.
Well, and at least now you've waited long enough where you can at least play the HD ones.
Right.
Well, the HD one of 3, I guess 4 was always in HD.
Right. Because 3 is a PlayStation 2 game?
Yeah.
Okay. Because 2 is also a PlayStation 2 game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was an early PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah,
and then 3 was a late PlayStation 2
Yeah, 3 was
game.
like, I think PlayStation 3 was out
when
3 came out. It was one of those deals.
Oh my god.
That's what I mean. It's so hard not to judge every new generation against that, knowing that like in the PlayStation 2 days. Well, first of all, Xbox launched with Halo.
Right.
And then the PlayStation 2
was a launch game?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
That's got to be like the best launch game ever.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. And then PlayStation 2, like their second year was Grand Theft Auto 3, was Metal Gear Solid 2.
Right.
Like it's never I can't it's impossible for me not to judge every generation against that.
Right. A lot of people say PlayStation 2 is the greatest console ever made.
I go back and forth because I don't know. Should you think you should count your ability to play PlayStation 1 games as your honest assessment of the PlayStation 2? Like, is it fair? Is it fair me to say PlayStation 2 is my favorite console because I can play PlayStation 1 and 2 games on it?
No, not to me.
Because that's what muddies it for me. Because my favorite is either PlayStation 1 or 2.
So wait, I don't understand. I don't completely understand. Is that a good point or a bad point? Like
no,
being able to play PlayStation 1 games on a PlayStation 2, is that a selling point for you?
Yeah, I'm saying because then I would include that doubles the library. Like that makes PlayStation 2 an amazing system because it has all the PlayStation 2 games. Plus, technically, it has Metal Gear Solid. It has Final Fantasy 7.
See, no, I don't think I would agree with that assessment. I think you have to go by what was released specifically for that platform.
But then I feel like if you're talking about personal favorite, it's hard not to separate your own experience with it. So what if I didn't do this, but what if, say, you didn't play Final Fantasy 7 until you had a PlayStation 2? Like, it's hard to separate that from your PlayStation 2 experience.
Sure, but if
you didn't have a GameCube and you had a Wii, but then you played Wind Waker on the Wii and you know all those games, well that was your experience with the Wii.
I hear what you're saying, but if you're like some sort of like serious game journalist or something,
well, I guess it's different. Yeah, if you're having like an academic discussion about it.
Like as far as your personal experience, absolutely. I mean, you can whatever you liked is your favorite. Right. But if you're going to have an academic discussion about which platform had the best library, then you should only include like the games that were specifically for that platform.
So if you take that off the table, then mine is a toss-up between PS1 and 2.
Yeah. I would probably say PS2. Well, I don't know. Actually, I think I might say PS1 just because... Oh, God, I don't know. It's hard because you have Grand Theft Auto 3 for PS2 and Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy 7 and 8 for PS1. And those are all the huge sellers for me.
Yeah.
Because, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 is a great game, but Metal Gear Solid 2 doesn't exist without Metal Gear Solid 1.
Well, sure.
So you have to say, like, the more important of those two games is Metal Gear Solid 1. But then, at the same time, you have to make kind of the same argument for Grand Theft Auto 3. That it was the innovative title in its series.
But then I don't see it gets complicated with that too, because then generally speaking, video game sequels are better than the first one. More or less, that kind of is the trend.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So, but then I feel like people are reluctant to say that part 2 is the best because part 1 is the more innovative one.
Right. Well, but regardless,
I don't think anybody would say that Grand Theft Auto 3 is the best of those three, of that, Vice City, and San Andreas.
No.
But, yeah, it's, so it's almost like when you're making a list, part 1s of all games just become irrelevant. It's almost like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or whatever just represents, the entire Grand Theft Auto series. Or like God of War 3 just represents like the God of War trilogy.
Or I guess you have to go the opposite direction and say the only relevant one is the first one.
Right. Well, it's kind of like how they do with the Oscars. Like, they wait until, like, Lord of the Rings 3 comes out to give it all the Oscars.
Right.
Because they knew, you know what I mean, instead of giving Oscars to all three of them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I find it very hard to make, like, long lists of, like, favorites for just that reason. Because, like, you look at, like, look at a game like God of War, like 1 and 2, say.
Right.
Like, they're pretty much the same game.
Yeah.
2 is just a more refined version of 1.
Right.
But I still loved 1.
Right.
So, like, what should my list be like? God of War 2 is number 8 and God of War 1 is number 9. Well, then the list looks stupid because the entire list is like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You've got a top 10 list and it's just 3 different game franchises with 3 titles each, and then one other thing thrown in there or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
But then I feel like people cheat when they're like, number 9, the God of War series.
Right. Yeah. It's like, you can't put 3 things on this list. I was all mad. Stupid thing to tell you, but I was working on this like small game project, and it was going to be some sort of like Halloween candy like collection game or something.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for like what do people classify as like rankings for the best Halloween candy?
Yeah.
And somebody had it like number 10. They had like Snickers, Kit Kat, and like Butterfinger all tied. And I'm like, first of all, that can't be 10. And second of all, that's 3 distinctly different candies, you pieces of shit.
I don't like nuts, so I don't lump in Snickers with the other 2, first of all.
Right.
Yeah, you have to at least lump in like, all right, fine, like Milky Way and Snickers, because a Snickers is a Milky Way with peanuts, essentially.
Right.
But yeah, like a 3 Musketeer and a Reese cup tied for number 10.
Like, right, like go fuck yourself. Like popcorn ball and a caramel apple.
Right.
What? It's not the same thing.
Yeah. Although I do find myself when I'm making my top 5s, I get way hung up on like the order.
Oh,
and I spend and finally I'm just like, what does it matter? This is my opinion. There's no wrong answer.
Right.
Like I'll just put the number 1 is kind of all that matters.
Right.
Then 2 through 4 are like debatable, and sometimes I look at it like a week later and I'm like, I wish I could switch 2 and 3, but it doesn't matter. Like this is not a test that I can fail.
Right.
Like my Smash Brothers list, like those are just 5 characters. I don't necessarily think one is more important than the other.
Right.
Dude, I got accused of trolling, like hardcore.
Why?
Like this one like Facebook group I'm in.
Yeah.
Like half the members were like, "Dude, this whole list is trolling. You're trolling us with this list."
Why?
I'm like, for wanting like a badass boss from Metroid. Like what? I don't understand why it's trolling. It's not like I was like I want Dr. Mario and the Mario from Mario is missing.
Right.
And the Zelda from the CDI Zelda game. Like I felt like those were decent choices.
Right.
And I'm like, and
somebody was even like, the Starman you picked isn't even the best Starman.
I know. Well, that was the other Steve.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. But yeah, so but
shout out to other Steve.
But literally, like the dog from Duck Hunt is in Smash Brothers.
Right.
So once he was in, nothing was off the table anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Nintendo was trolling us with putting him in the game.
Right. Well, I feel like
and like the trainer from Wii Fit is in the fucking game. But yeah, my choice is I'm trolling because I want like the fucking end boss from Super Mario Brothers 2 in the game.
Right.
And somebody besides like Samus with suit on and Samus with suit off.
Right.
For the Metroid characters.
For one of Nintendo's most iconic franchises.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the demo of the 3DS version, there's like 4 levels that take place in the Metroid world. So obviously Metroid's a big deal.
Right.
Not like Samus with costume, Samus with boobs.
Right. So, dude.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like this game.
Yeah. And actually, it's, I don't know what it's priced at on consoles, but on Steam it was $50. So it was $10 cheaper than your typical AAA release. I can be down with that.
I don't know if console games do that very often. Maybe the digital ones do.
Yeah.
They're finally starting to toy with that a little bit, making digital ones a little bit less.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, this is a great game. I feel like it's definitely worth $50. And it's one of those games that, as good as it is, I know it's going to be one of those come and go kind of games.
Yeah.
So in 3 months, it's going to be like $30 somewhere or $20 somewhere. Yeah. I definitely think this is worth picking up. But yeah, I think I give Shadow of Mordor like a caramel apple out of 10.
All right.
Tied with a Snickers and a popcorn ball and a fucking
beer.
Yeah, and a beer and a razor blade apple. And
yes.
Don't eat any candy that's been opened.
Wait, isn't Razor Blade Apple the name of a Bush album?
It probably should be. Dude, there was a new Bush song on the radio the other day. What fucking year is this?
Oh, boy.
What is going on?
Was that right after the new Blur song?
Is there a new Blur song?
I don't know.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. All right, I gotta go before I fucking kill myself.
Tender is the heart. See you later.
Okay, bye.